Hello and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Mussy Diskin. I am an advanced nurtured heart approach trainer. I am a parenting coach. I am also an inner wealth coach, which means that I help people rediscover and connect to the people that they truly were all along, but may have gotten forgotten along the way. So to find out more about me and what I offer, you can check out mussydiskin.com. I would love to connect and I would love to hear your feedback. Reach out to energizinghearts@gmail.com. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're with Heather again. This is going to be a part 2 because we were very passionately involved in a conversation, and then the clock told us that we had to have some structure and say pause. So go back to part 1, which I'm guessing would have been last week when you're listening to this, to get the beginning of this conversation. But let's just keep going, Heather. What's on your heart now as you reflect on everything we just talked about?
When I think of the experience as a therapist and utilizing the approach, or even colleagues in the community, a lot of us have survived, so to speak, a lot of traumatic experiences in our lives, and some of the qualities that we're assigned, like that are considered strengths, have often come from survival. So they're really survival mechanisms. They're really not coming from our inner well. And so what happens, and I had this recently with a person that I work with, and I was giving recognitions, like just in her trust or her wanting to take it in, she's a parent of a child with autism, and it's single, and it's a lot, and to hear those positive accolades, because individuals that I think that are resilient, that are usually the helpers of other people, that are incredibly empathetic, it's as if others see them as not needing other things because they have all these great qualities, and then those qualities actually kind of end up making them feel more lonely, more alone, because they're the strengths of survival. Being very mindful of that, or even for our own selves, like, I even have experience within my own self of like, oh wow, that how do I shift those qualities where they are coming from here? And what I notice is I've done even my own work of even my levels of resilience or my levels of independence, and is growing from a place of not having such strong boundaries and being able to ask for help, and the courage, and developing different courage, and to know that there's another piece of things that can be developed in the portfolio, that it's okay, if it's moved, the quality needs to move over. I think being attentive to those that have been through trauma, that there's resistance, and I think it comes from that space, and to have compassion, that the trust can be low, that the trust can be low, because they don't really feel seen for who they are, but what they do. Then it accidentally becomes from what they do rather than who they are. And sometimes we don't even know that we're that person.
I'm feeling that
Does
right
that
now.
make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense, because it was a lot that I was trying to say very small.
I'm breathing that in for myself. I'm like, yeah, like I just want to be weak. Like sometimes, like I want to be little and weak and needy. Not needy in the sense of needy, but needy as in like having someone else, take care of me, having someone else be the stronger one for me, having someone be my strength instead of me having to be my strength. Like sometimes I just want that, and to lean into that, especially because oftentimes there are people who love us and would do that for us. I can talk for myself. There are people who love me and who would do that for me in a blink. But I, when I'm so comfortable not asking for it, I'm so comfortable asking for, how can I be your strength? How can I be there for you? That's just what the world has asked me to be, and I'm good at it. So here we go. It's a gift to me to slow down and be those other opposite greatnesses, like not the strong, resilient greatness, but the weak, vulnerable, opening up to being held and taken care of greatnesses of like humanness and not knowing it all, not needing to, just like sitting down for a minute, that feels so nourishing.
You've created a safety in the role that you have, right? There's a sense of control with that, and then right, and it can be, that creates safety. And then there's the piece, like even as you're saying it, like the word of weak, right? That that's weak to be nurtured. It's what it is it's the beauty of fragility. That we're that that it's okay to be fragile.
The things that are the most delicate and the most beautiful are the most fragile, right? Like it's beautiful. I remember reading something about the dandelion versus like the orchid, like the kids who can, a dandelion will grow in a parking lot, in a crack. Like how resilient that flower is. It can be driven on and it'll grow back. It doesn't need anything. And some kids are like that and they can just get through school and get through experiences, and adults don't have to really shape themselves much around them or work on themselves that much because they can pick up our slack and figure it out themselves. They're just so resilient, right? And then there's like the beautiful, I don't know, name your flower that can't do that. It needs the perfect amount of shade and the perfect amount of, it's delicate and it's fragile and it needs the perfect environment to survive and thrive. And yet the beauty of that flower, you can't get that from a dandelion.
And fascinating thing about what you're saying is that we can see all those, like, say, the positive qualities of the dandelion, but if we take the moment and actually like pull out that dandelion and we bring that in and we nurture and care for it, the dandelion has incredible medicinal effects.
Mm.
It actually is medicinal. There's beautiful teas and different things that you can do that are very healing. So if we can show up and know how to nurture all of us, right? It's all the unique composure. And I love that you brought that up because it's, you know, everything's got its own inner orchid.
Right, exactly. It's like the delicate, fragile parts of the dandelion where you can leave it and ignore it and let it just be the flower in the crack. Or you can say, there's a flower in this crack. Let's look at it. Let's see it. Yeah, no, I love that permission, and I love that caution too for those of us in helping roles where people are coming from harder things that have forced them to be that dandelion. To remember to pause and see their whole selves, not just the part of themselves that they've been forced to wear to get through it, but to allow them the space to be more than that, to fall apart almost a little bit, to fall apart, to find what's really. I remember someone saying she prefers to say, my heart didn't break apart into pieces, my heart broke open. So now there was so much more room for everything to come in and from what's in to come out. So it was a heartbreaking in the most beautiful way, that letting go and falling apart is okay, and it's brave to let go of some of those things that have helped us for so many years. But there's so much beauty to be had in that process that's just kind of waiting to be found.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the beauty in recognizing that, anyone giving resistance or defensiveness, they're sharing a piece of their story. So be open to what's underneath that. Yeah, that there is that delicacy underneath that, and the possibility of nurturing in a renewed way. And then one other thing that I did want to share is, what this approach gives is it teaches, I believe, leadership. Leadership of our thoughts, feelings, and emotion that we learn to lead ourselves through. Right. That's the part of the growth. That this isn't about, right, managing a conversation or a child or a thing or ourselves. It's really a process of leading ourselves through discovery and leading communication to the new places.
Hmm. That's interesting because I had a conversation earlier. She was using the word ownership and saying how Nurtured Heart has given her ownership in her parenting, where she looks to herself in a moment of intensity and owns who she is and who she wants to be, or instead of focusing on the outside. And I don't know that other parenting models don't talk about ownership. It's just that the responsibility or ownership of the conventional model is so heavy because there's this expectation on us to manage and control things to be a certain way, which is not actually possible and hurts relationship and hurts each other. And but we feel like we have to, because we're not allowed to let our kids grow up with flaws or perfect whatever scores or whatever it is that's getting to us, whatever the negativity seems to be. And this other way, like leadership, like you're saying, right? Like there are other ways to define leadership. We know that. Like not everybody says leadership is about leading our own selves through and forward. But what an empowering thing, because the only one that we can control is ourselves, and the only one that we need to control is ourselves. That I actually can live out my highest intention because it's all within my realm of control. And so it's so empowering, and two, how like humble and accepting and relational and sensitive and giving it is to make that be where I'm leading and what I'm leading. And it's so spaciousness for others, to do their leading.
Consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's being conscious, being present, being aware, being attuned.
Yeah.
That's empathy.
Can I ask you, from a very sort of practical place as a therapist, if you can walk us through this, like in that moment of resistance, when somebody does feel like they've been seen for everything they do, and actually that makes them feel more and more invisible, like they matter less and less. So you're saying, wow, look, you came to this space, you advocated for yourself, you showed up to this, whatever, you're commenting on the things that are going right. I see a lot of emotionality in what you're saying, and you're giving them that active recognition, and they're just like, have this sort of belief, you don't see me, there's this wall up, right? Like, can you like walk me through what it looks like to maybe take that deeper? We can even role model, like, I'll just tell you right now, like, no, that's not true. Like, I'm not the hero of this story. And actually, if you knew what was going on inside, you wouldn't see me as such a strong person, because actually I'm not. So, what's your response to that?
Well, for me, it's also knowing the person you're with.
Yeah.
And for me, I drop into such attunement. It's like it depends on the person in front of me, but how I may show up is, I am in some particular way going to reflect back what I believe I've heard, and to be sure that I understood. Sometimes I get a little bit more, and I may even say, I'm hearing that. I'm getting what you're saying, and can you tell me more? I would love to hear more. And maybe I have more, and maybe I'm even giving additional recognition. But typically, where I would go with that is me having an understanding, because I'm listening, and I'm typically going to understand. And I even might say when I'm saying this, I ain't blowing smoke. Like, here's the real deal. I know you got some resistance here, but I'm gonna need you to trust me. Like, I might take that approach, and with someone else, it may be, I really, really fully understand where you're at, and with everything that you've been through, I may name off those things that this would bring up this would bring up this would bring, and usually I'm so attuned and with, like, there's the nod of being present with that, and then there's even the conversation of how do we shift so this feels healthy. Where is our starting point? Hey, that you were even in this conversation right now is just an opportunity that you gave a little trust and gave a little conversation. I stay with the moment, but that's why I can't even give a set thing, because
Well, I
I'm
love
so attuned, right, to the moment of staying present with what's shared, and then how much to be curious, how much to just see things as they are. And if I have stepped on a toe that feels uncomfortable, I'll be like, whoa, okay, let me rephrase that for you, so it lands. And I know the person well enough to know how to say it. And usually I can develop relationship in that way really quickly.
No, I love, even you answered even in the way you didn't answer, meaning you reset the whole question, because really, I don't need to have the right thing to say to resistance. I don't need to know how to make resistance go away, because even that is, again, the same old make the resistance go away, make you feel a certain way, make you, I can see your resistance and I can stay there with you as long as I need to, as long as you need to, and say, well, hello, resistance. Welcome, resistance. Thanks for being here, resistance. Like, you make sense. You are here because this doesn't ring true for you. And I am loving the space you're taking up to even say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can trust myself that instead of knowing how to listen or knowing what to say to sound like I'm listening, I don't want to sound like I'm listening. I want to actually be listening. Cut the stuff, cut the garbage of needing to listen, of needing to sound like I'm listening, and trust myself to just listen. And I don't know what I'll say, but if I'm listening, then all I need to do is to respond to what I heard. It's like I can trust my heart to lead me. Leading again, back to leadership. So we're going to close here. We're at our time, and I want to just ask Heather again if you can let everybody know if you'd like to work with Heather, if you'd like to find out more about what she offers, if you'd like to connect with her. How can people find you, and what can they
Dynamic
expect?
wisdom.
We will put that in the show notes, dynamicwisdom.com.
Actually, I don't know why I'm saying that. It's so fascinating. It's .net. It's
Oh, look at that.
dynamicwisdom.net. Why am I
Dynamicwisdom.
saying .com? That's hilarious.
Did you say .com? Maybe I said .com. Maybe you said .net and I
No,
said .com.
no, I did. I said it earlier too. At least I'm acknowledging. When the brain blinks out, it blinks out. Do you see
There
how
you go.
effortlessly I just reset and just accepted that I had no idea why that happened?
There you go.
Yes,
It
it's
was supposed
.net.
to happen.
Dynamicwisdom.net. So
Thank you for being here, Heather. Until next time. Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.